Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Amazing World of Gumball, episodes 16 and 17. So yeah, we're only doing 2 episodes this week, and there's a reason for that. So some of you have been noting in the comments, like on my last reaction to this, which was the return reaction after it was voted on the poll. A lot of you guys were noticing how I just didn't seem like I was enjoying it at all. If I actually look back at these comments real quick, if I can get them up. Basically, you guys were just saying that I looked like I was miserable the entire time. Let me just find it. Oh, that's Dragon Prince. Okay, here we go. You keep mentioning skipping seasons and stuff and episodes. Yeah, Matthew Vasquez, you said that's why I didn't vote for this one. You don't seem to be enjoying it at all. And, things like that. Malu de Souza, I might be pronouncing your name and I apologize. But you said, unless you have patience or skip the season, you will keep looking like you hate the show. And pretty much everyone just keeps mentioning how it does improve after like another season or so. And looking back on it, it's like, yeah, I can see why you guys have been saying this kind of stuff. Well, you guys keep pushing the fact that, oh, it gets better later on and stuff. And it's like, okay. I also see why you keep saying that I look like I'm miserable, and it seems like I'm just not enjoying doing these reactions at all. Because the thing is, I really am not. Like, even when I started up with the last reaction, I said I won't drop this unless it goes below 10%. And it's like, that last set of episodes, well, one of them was kind of good. The other ones were just not. And just overall, I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying myself reacting to it. And the more I thought about it as the week went on and continued into this week, I did start like really realizing how much you guys were right and how much I really was not enjoying it at all. Even though, again, the one episode from the last set was kind of good. But just overall, it's just like, even with that episode, even with it being kind of good, it's like it's good for this series in comparison to other shows in this, other episodes in this series. Like, if you compared it to something like Steven Universe, it wouldn't hold up. And I think someone had once compared it to kind of like it with Adventure Time, how Adventure Time takes a lot to get started, and at the beginning it's kind of crappy. And if you remember, for those who might remember with my old channels and stuff, I did actually drop Adventure Time when I first started reacting to it the first time. And then I ended up watching it along with Rarity Dash's reactions, and I realized that it ended up becoming a lot better. And I started reacting to it again with Season 4. And then eventually I did drop it again, but that was more just to make room for other stuff. But yeah, it's just like, Gumball might be the same way. But what I'm getting at with all of this is that I kind of have to put it on watch here. And this is something I haven't actually talked about in a while. So for those who might be new, what this means is that my actual interest in continuing this is actually getting lower and lower every day, basically. It definitely wasn't as low as 10% last week when I reacted to it, but every day pretty much that passed after that, it kept getting lower and lower because I kept realizing that I really didn't enjoy it, that I didn't find most of the humor good at all, and I really just don't like the characters for the most part. Um, and it's just, I'm bringing this up here because like I said, I'm putting it on watch, which again, if you are newer or whatnot, what that means is that basically it's on its last chance. This episode is either make it or break it. Or, well, these episodes, these two episodes, make it or break it. If these episodes are basically anywhere near the same level of unenjoyable as pretty much the entire rest of the season up to this point has been, then I am dropping the series. Because at that point, my interest is gonna plummet if it's like that. And again, I don't skip seasons, I don't skip episodes. So I'm not going to just skip through shit to get to the good stuff, and I'm not going to, and I don't, and the idea of wading through all of this shit to get to the good stuff just brings my interest in it lower, because again, I'd have to wade through all that shit. But if these episodes do prove to be pretty damn good, then it will at least keep my interest where it's at, to where I can continue for now. I don't really have a prediction as to where it's going to go with that. I can't really say, because it could surprise me. It very well could. It could be like Adventure Time and really surprise me with suddenly pulling out something really good. Or it could just kind of prove my worries right. And I am keeping to the limits for dropping shows that I placed on myself. It would still basically be reaching less than 10% if it ends up becoming drop worthy after these episodes. Because I can tell you, my interest in continuing right now is about 20%. In comparison, at the very beginning, like in the pre-thoughts before last week's set of episodes, I believe it was right around 45-50%, somewhere in that range. So it's like it dropped a lot last time. And again, throughout the week, because that does count too, because it's my general interest in continuing, and that can drop as I go and as I get closer to the next set. I mean, it's just about 3 o'clock p.m. here, and I had been procrastinating on even getting to this, and it's caused me to procrastinate on everything today, so that should tell you enough that I'm not really dreading reacting to this, but I just don't want to as much. But again, we're going to see where these two episodes lead us, how well they do, one way or the other, and we'll make a decision from there. If we continue going, we continue going. If not, then, well, we will do a new poll. And we'll do that in the afterthoughts if it comes to that, by the way. We'll do the randomizer to determine what will be on the poll, and then I'll also have to make a new poll video, which will probably come out either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, either way, I am hoping, believe it or not, that this does prove me wrong. Like with any series, I want it to prove me wrong, and I want it to be good. I really hope it does. I really hope it ends up being like Adventure Time in that way. I can't say one way or the other if I think it will, because it's just hard to say. And again, I have seen clips from later seasons, and I acknowledge it gets better. And the jokes and the humor and the meta references are great in those clips that I've seen. But again, I will not wade through shit to get to the good stuff. I will not do that to myself. And I won't do it to you guys either, because you guys noticed how down I looked doing the reaction last time. So you guys are clearly, it's clearly affecting just the general reaction itself as well. And I don't want to do that to you guys. So we're going to see how this goes, and we'll go from there. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I do have some things to say regarding these episodes. And let's kind of go in order here. So episode 16, Granny JoJo. And the episode was called The Kiss, and it was all about how Nicole and Dumbass were going off on a trip or something. I don't know exactly. But they were leaving the kids with their grandmother. And she's just kind of your stereotypical grandmother character. The episode really stems from the fact that she gives her grandchildren kisses, and on accident she kissed Gumball on the mouth. And he freaked out, and it kind of became this traumatizing thing for him. And then Darwin tries to help him get over it by giving him some other trauma. This, as they called it, trauma therapy, is absolutely fucking terrible. As an idea, as just a concept, as a thought, as a mere utterance, it is absolutely atrociously terrible. Because trauma is a real thing. And this episode 1 made light of it just by how it came into play with Gumball in the first place. The fact that him accidentally getting kissed on the lips by his grandmother being seen as traumatic is stupid. It's fucking stupid. And it feels like it's making light of people who really do have these traumas in their life, for one reason or another, that scars them. Whether straight up PTSD or just events and whatnot they can't get past and always kind of haunt them. I definitely have faced a lot of that myself in life. I have, you could say, a form of PTSD in regards to holding a job because of the last job I really held, which was Wendy's in 2013, made me suicidal. And I mean, there were other reasons for it too, but it's like, ever since I have literal nightmares about having a job. And it sounds silly to people who do have jobs, and it sounds silly to people who don't face that, but that's kind of how trauma is in a lot of ways. Other people may not understand it, but trying to like just say, oh, you get over it, it doesn't work like that. And it's actually extremely insulting. Trauma, what I'm getting at here, is a very complex, horrible thing that so many people go through. And it comes in many different degrees. And to some people, some of these traumas may seem ridiculous or silly, but to the people facing them, they're absolutely mortifying. And admittedly, I mean, you may say, like, oh, but then aren't you kind of being hypocritical with that? Like, to Gumball, him being accidentally kissed on the lips by his grandmother was absolutely mortifying. And even though it may seem silly to you, and you have a point. But the thing is, the traumas, even when they seem silly to other people, like, again, going back to my own, they still hold some kind of semblance of, trauma. Like mine again. I was I was I was made suicidal. I tried to end my life because of that kind of stuff. And whether or not someone finds this silly, that still happened. It got me to that big of a degree. In this episode, it's like just Gumball was like freaked out because his grandmother kissed him on the lips accidentally. There's nothing there to cause a legitimate trauma. And on top of that, the way they were treating it it actually seemed insulting. And he never made up for it. I'm surprised that this Granny JoJo character wasn't excessively insulted by this. And granted, I don't know if she really knew that he was like this, but still. In the end, and then there's, again, the trauma therapy thing is so fucking bad. You don't try to get someone to get over a trauma in the first place, but especially not through methods like that by introducing them to a different trauma. Because even if you succeed and they get over their initial one, then they still have a different trauma. And it's just an endless loop. But either way, you shouldn't try to force someone to get over their trauma. Because it doesn't work that way. Yes, you can get over a trauma. That is very true. But if you try to force it, it does not work. You can't get over it by forcing it. You have to do it more naturally and more simplistically. And by trying to force it, it would basically it'd basically be in the same category as trying to get over an allergy by continuously forcing yourself to face your allergen. And it's just like, no. Or the same thing with a phobia, trying to get over an intense fear by exposing yourself constantly to what you're afraid of. No, that doesn't work. That just makes things worse. But like I said, I do admit that ending gag with Anais getting extremely pissed off because of having just gotten her granny's luggage in her room and now having to bring it back down right away. That was legitimately funny. I will acknowledge that. But then we move on to the second episode. I believe it was called The Date. No, The Party. The Party. So there's a party that's going to be happening, and everyone's invited, but the younger students are only invited if they can find a date. And so they're looking for dates, and pretty much everyone succeeds in finding someone. Gumball ends up at the last minute asking the T-Rex girl, who, again, we had seen before and has gotten characterization stuff. I have no idea how she fit in that car, though, and how that car could move with her in it. Like, think about it. She's got to be fucking heavy. Look, nothing against her, but she's a T-Rex. She's got to be fucking heavy. How can that car move with her in it? And then on top of it, Gumball was being a complete dumbass and being excessively insulting to all of those girls, saying some of the most horrible things. And I get that Gumball is very naive and very socially stupid, just for lack of a better term. He's just socially stupid. But still, there's a point where it goes a little far. And yes, he did get his comeuppance. He got slapped, he got zapped and everything. But still, it was so cringy. And there was a lot of that kind of humor in this episode. Now, it did end with Gumball and Penny kind of getting together. And I have always said that, yeah, that's the obvious ship, because they just seem like they're literally written for each other, and clearly they are. The Darwin thing, though, with the other girl, the one who was hosting the party in the first place, felt completely forced. And it felt like it went by way too quick and way too easily, and it's just like, no. And just overall, the episode was just kind of blah. It wasn't like the worst one. It definitely wasn't as bad as episode 16 was. Um, but it was just very blah. Like outside of just the stuff that was just stupid as hell, um, it wasn't enjoyable. It just wasn't. And the thing about Darwin being part suckerfish or whatever and cleaning the house, that felt stupid and tacked on just for a cheap gag. Overall, like these episodes, episode 16 was really insulting and I really did not like. And episode 17 was very blah. Like it just did not it wasn't terrible, but it did not do anything good either. Um, Again, both episodes had a couple high points, maybe. Like with episode 17, it did have a few puns, and I've always loved puns. I really appreciate some good puns. So it did have that. Like saying that the one girl, the ghost girl, has spirit. That was my favorite. that was good. Um, and again, the first episode had that Anais moment that was at the end that it built to, which was actually really legitimately funny and good. But other than that, the episodes just didn't do it for me. Or again, in the case of the first one there, really did not like that and how that turned out. So yeah, I think it's kind of obvious that we have to move past this. You guys have noted that I just really felt, again, like I said in the pre-thoughts, you guys noted I just really looked and everything like I was just not enjoying myself at all, like I was struggling to get through it in a way. And honestly, again, I did start to notice that throughout the week, and as I was watching this time, I was actually, I was giving you genuine reactions, but at the same time, I was noticing very much how I was reacting. And yeah, I felt miserable. I felt I was not enjoying myself. And I'll be honest, that's why I do these reactions. I do these reactions because I enjoy doing them. They make me happy. They they make me excited. And seeing your guys' responses to them and how you guys enjoy them so much is what makes it all worthwhile. So to have a reaction series where I'm not enjoying myself, where I'm miserable, where I feel like I'm just kind of forcing myself to go through it, just that, knowing that alone dive bombs my interest in continuing. Because it kind of goes against the entire reason I'm doing reactions. And with the quality of these episodes as well, it makes it even worse. So yeah, my interest in continuing is definitely less than 10%. I don't want to. I don't want to do this to myself. I don't want to do this to you guys, and I'm just not enjoying the show. I gave this another chance. I was willing to give this show another shot. And again, maybe it gets better in future seasons. In fact, it most likely does, based on the clips I had seen. But again, I am not willing to wade through the shit to get to that good stuff. And I don't skip seasons or episodes. I don't believe in doing that. I don't believe that's really worth it. So, I'm sorry, but we do have to cancel Gumball reactions again. We do have to drop this show again. This time it'll be for good, though. This time we won't be bringing it back a third time. Yeah, if I watch this at some point on my own time, then that's on my own time, but I can't do reactions to this. I just can't. I can't put myself through this. And I hate having to do that to you guys because, again, it's like we just started this back up last week. So it's like we've only done 2 weeks of this since coming back now. And that sucks. That sucks because we want to be able to do more. And having only 2 weeks since we've come back is like not a lot. It's just not a lot. But we do have to. Sorry about that cut there. Something weird happened with the recording. It recorded the footage, but it cut off at a weird point. So I don't know what happened there. But I was just about to get into the new poll and stuff. So let's make sure that's ready for the randomizer. Oh geez, what is happening there? Okay, so we can bring that down a little bit because we're going to need to see the randomized part. Okay, so let's bring this over to here. And I will scroll down so you can see all of the options on the list. As you can see, there are plenty of shows that do have continue next to them, which means that we have started them in the past. And we would just be continuing kind of where we left off. And you may notice Genlock is on there, and that was brought up last time as well. For those who might not know, I did say at one point I would not react to Genlock, but I'm willing to at least give it a shot here, I guess, as long as you know, I said I'd never react to it before, but I've just changed my mind. I'll give it a shot if it ends up winning a poll or whatnot, and we'll see. We'll see. Either way, let us randomize this, and the top 5 options will be our poll options for the new show. Okay, so our top 5. Alien News Desk. This is like some kind of Adult Swim fake animated news program. I've seen my dad watching it, but I've never actually checked it out personally. I don't really know too much about it other than I guess it's just news stuff. I've seen a little, like maybe a couple bits of it while my dad was watching it, but never actively watched it. Number 2 is Daria. Daria is an interesting one because I've seen a bit of it in the past, but I never actively watched it. All I know is it's about this girl who's kind of, she's not apathetic, but she speaks like she is. And there's supposedly a lot of like woke content, progressive content in it. A lot of people really love it though, and I've always kind of wanted to see exactly why. Third option is continuing Miraculous Ladybug. So this was one of those shows that I kind of dropped for the wrong reasons because I thought it wasn't really going much of anywhere. But I still enjoyed what I did see of it, so I'm definitely willing to continue giving it a shot. Number 4 is Neo Yokio, the Netflix anime-inspired cartoon starring Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son. I know almost nothing about the plot of this show. I just know about the "you don't deserve this giant Toblerone" meme. I don't even know the context behind it. And our 5th and final option for this poll is Milo Murphy's Law, which is, it's made by the same people as Phineas and Ferb, and I believe it actually stars Weird Al Yankovic, funny enough. I've never seen it. I've seen, like, character designs, and there's this, like, one girl who's really fucking cute. But, like, I don't know what the plot is at all. I mean, all I can take from it is that, obviously, it's named after Murphy's Law, in which anything that can go wrong will. So I'm assuming it has something along the line, something to do with along the lines of everything is going wrong. Everything, like, probably bad luck. Probably something involved with a lot of bad luck. Basically, a show completely centered around Crow from Ruby. No, but you get the idea. So those 5 will be on the poll, which is linked to in the description below. I will also make another video for those who don't watch the Gumball reactions. And that will go until next week. and I will make an announcement video to announce the winner, and we'll kind of go from there. As always, please vote for whichever one you want to see me react to the most. Do not vote based on what you think I will want to see the most, but what you want to see me. Because that's what these polls are for. But yeah, tell me what you think of these shows as well, and hopefully we'll get something that we end up liking a little more this time. And honestly, I think with most of these, I'll probably be fine. Like, again, Miraculous Ladybug, I did still enjoy. The very few clips I've seen of Alien News Desk, not Deck, seemed pretty funny, so I could see myself enjoying that. If Milo Murphy's Law is by the same people who did Phineas and Ferb, and I liked Phineas and Ferb very much. And yeah, I don't really know enough about Neo Yokio or Daria to say on either of those, but hopefully I'd like those too. But yeah, so those are our options. So thank you so much for continuing to tune in, and I do apologize for all of those who really wanted me to continue with Gumball. But yeah, it's just, I just don't want to be miserable while reacting to it, and I'm just not liking it. I don't like the characters for the most part. I don't like the comedy. There are a couple exceptions here and there, but it's not enough to keep me invested enough to want to continue the show. So I apologize, and for now, we're just going to move on. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,